podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
So welcome everybody to the Overthrow at the Premier League Cricket Club. And once again, it's been a while since we've done one. It's time for Overseas at the Crease, where we get to talk to cricketers who are either over here in the UK and they're not from the UK, or the other way around. We spoke to the lads down in Australia and New Zealand in the winter who, go and play their cricket in the UK. This time round, we've got someone who, well, it's fair to say it's a first for us, because we've never had anyone from the US Virgin Isles on our show. So that's got to be new. Joining us today on Overseas at the Crease, we have Hayden Walsh Jr, more important to us, of Castleford in the Yorkshire North Premier League. How are you doing, bud?
I'm great, Ian. Thanks for having me.
Absolute pleasure, mate. Absolute pleasure. Got to ask the very obvious question to start with. How on earth did you end up at Castleford, of all places?
Pretty simple, actually. So I've played cricket with Chesney Hughes from since 9 years old. We've been playing under 13 cricket together up until under 19s and the men's team, and I was looking for a club to play for, and he signed me up straight away.
Ex-Derbyshire, Chesney Hughes, legend down this way as well.
Yeah.
Now that 2 and 2 added together, that works now. 9 years old, you were playing with Chesney.
Yeah, and he's been just as big. He's been just as big at 9 years old.
So who hits the ball further, you or Chesney?
Chesney, he hits it pretty hard.
He does. Yeah, he's never stopped doing that. So is that back home that you knew him from all those days back?
Yeah, back home, there was an under 13 tournament within the Leeward Islands. So we play Antigua versus St. Kitts, Anguilla, where he's from.
Yeah.
And, ever since then, I've just known him. And, we've got a pretty good pool of players. I mean, all the guys know. Well, you would have Jamal Hamilton, Raheem Cornwall in that pool. Who else? Kieran Powell would have came out of that. We've known each other for ages, since around that age.
And all done reasonably well playing cricket for your career, basically.
Yeah, we've all gone on to done pretty well. So
absolutely. Now, there's something also very special about yourself, Hayden, to us, because I don't think anyone thought we'd ever be talking to somebody who's represented the United States. Now, cricket in the United States is quite new, shall we say? But
not really. Not.
I was going to say it's been there a long time, but it's been very much under the radar until the last 5 to 10 years, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has, and they've been trying to push it hard so that they can just tap into that market, and I think they're doing pretty well in marketing and getting it out there.
Yeah, definitely. So tell us the story of how you get to represent the United States first. Obviously, US Virgin Isles, born there in the first place.
So, I mean, yeah, I was born in St. Croix, which is the US Virgin Islands. I've probably only been back there once, but I grew up playing my cricket in Antigua. So I've never really, just had any thoughts of living in the US or playing US cricket. But there was the year, so there was a time ago when the CPL, you had to pick a USA player. So my first year that I got into the CPL, we had a USA player. Who was actually the captain. So I remember one game we spent a lot of time on the bench together, of course. So, I just mentioned to him, hey, I have a US passport. And he was like, you're joking. And after that, they just pretty much, drafted me in quickly. Um, and yeah, that probably about a month after I played my first, what do you call it? Division, I think it was Division 3.
Yeah.
Division 3 in Oman. We were playing Oman and Kenya and Uganda and those guys, and it was a really good experience.
Wow. So, I always do say that a lot of the best tapping up of players does come on the bench in cricket. There's a lot of those conversations go on in and around training, especially around that franchise market.
Yeah.
But then you go from playing in the CPL to a month later playing in Oman. I mean, that's a dream, surely, to go and play that sort of, to go and play
I
it
mean,
somewhere so different.
it wasn't necessarily a dream. I mean, it was kind of, but not necessarily. The dream was always to play for the Western Youth. But
Of course.
um, I always wanted to play a high level of cricket. At the time, I was only playing first class and list day, and
Hmm.
I would probably be playing uh, 3 games a year,
Yeah.
three games a year for first class cricket, and
Hmm.
I just wanted to broaden my horizon, and I just saw that USA option as a as an as a way in.
Yeah, most definitely, But obviously, it wasn't very long for playing for the USA because the national side that you wanted to play came calling, and obviously you're playing more in and around the West Indies and for the Leeward Isles. That was your dream, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was my dream, but I'll tell you this: at the time when I got selected, the dream I had actually given up the dream.
Okay.
So the US so the US were trying to gain ODI status, and
Hmm.
the World Cup that they had in the US, they were preparing to play that and all that stuff. So
Hmm.
um me playing for the US in that World Cup was actually my dream.
Yeah.
At that time, having a full-time contract playing for them, and just that was my international dream at the time.
Hmm.
And I'd actually given up my hopes on playing for the West Indies
Hmm.
until I had a breakout season in the CPL,
Yeah.
and I pretty much as we would say in the Caribbean, I banged the door down.
Yeah. And they had to pick you.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And am I right in saying, reading up about you before talking, when you were first named in the squad, you then unfortunately got COVID?
No, no, it was probably no, probably about a year and a half
Okay,
after.
that was for
Yeah.
another series then.
Yeah, yeah.
But you managed to play, against what, Australia, Bangladesh. You've played against Afghanistan. You've played some decent nations, shall we say?
Yeah, I've definitely played some decent nations, and against some very very good players.
Yeah, and let's talk about them. Of all the players you've played against, with the utmost respect to our friends in the Yorkshire North League, and there's some top players around there. Yeah, who did you play against? Who you look back now with fondness, and you look back and go, that was amazing. And who did you play against who you thought, oh, I never want to see him again?
um um I every time someone asks me that question, I really remember one. Like it was basically not necessarily a moment, but um just that kind of phase in the game where I was bowling to Virat Kohli, and I was the matchup against him.
Uh-huh.
I bowled. I feel like I bowled pretty well to him at the time, but there was one ball where I felt like I had him,
Uh-huh.
and just at the last moment, he just kept it out, kept the delivery out, and I always look back and say, I lie down in my bed and say, that was a really good ball and that was a really good shot. And
Yeah.
it didn't go for four or anything. It was just it went down to long on for one. But you just look back at that and just have to kind of tip your hat and say, very well played, because I know I've got you there.
Yeah, yeah, it's the ball
Yeah.
that if you want to visualize your almost perfect ball, it's the
Yeah.
one that you never quite got him, but that's the one that you want to visualize.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And
Definitely.
somehow he got it out. So
Uh-huh. And you've dropped a name there. Virat Kohli. That's a big name
yeah.
to say the least. But was there anybody who took you down while you were playing at that level? And you think, I do not want to have to bowl to that guy again, because every time I do, every player has one who takes them down.
Um, a few people, in international cricket, you're gonna get hit. Um, I do enjoy playing against Kieran Pollard.
Okay.
He's taken me down before, but I know it was a situation where he had to take me down or I will get him out. So,
Yeah.
fair play to him. Um, Me personally, I don't like to say, like, I don't want to see him again, or I really like a challenge. So,
Yeah.
I have what's his name? Rishabh Pant. He's
Yeah.
taken me down. But in the end, I've come back and got him in the end.
Yeah. And
Um,
and you're not the only bowler to be taken down by Rishabh Pant, so hey ho.
no, no, I'm not gonna be the first, and I'm not gonna be the last.
No, not in the
Um,
slightest. What
yeah.
have you learned from that sort of playing at that level that has just sort of goes with you all the time, cricket wise? I'm a big believer that we learn as we get older, all the way through, and then
Yeah.
there is a peak where I'm not saying you stop learning, but you start taking things from, in your case, international, and you can use those things through the rest of your career.
Yeah, one thing that I've definitely learned is there's nobody that can. I mean, yeah, people will hit your best ball, but if you consistently bowl your best ball,
Yeah.
you would be a very hard bowler to face. We talk about the boomers, we talk about the mystery spinners and all that stuff, but
Hmm.
at the end of the day, it's just them. They have to bowl a good length. They have to go, put spin on the ball or pace on the ball,
Hmm.
and they have to execute. So at the end of the day, just whatever the best ball is, in that moment, you really just have to execute it and just bowl it. It doesn't, if you get hit,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
And
we
it's
we we get caught up in you know, oh, what if, just do it.
100%. I'm a big believer that I spend part of my life doing analyst roles and actually analysing cricket and where the ball lands and where it goes and all. But you can actually analyse it too much. You've just got to do what you do.
Yeah, for sure, and I'm sure there's some stuff in your analytical stuff that you just really can't explain.
Yeah, most definitely. You're not playing against Rishabh Pant anymore, though. You're not playing against Virat Kohli. You're playing at the wonderful Savile Park and the home of
Mhm.
Castleford. So come on then. What is What's the one thing that you found most difficult playing in the Yorkshire North League in comparison to what you've played previously?
Um, Definitely at Castleford, it's not a ground where you can bully bowlers.
Mhm.
You can't whack it everywhere because the square boundaries are
It's huge.
about 100 meters.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Is it an old running track and it's got sort of long,
yeah,
wide? Yeah,
440 meters running track.
yeah.
And you know, the wicket has been pretty good. It spins, but it's not international cricket where it is
Mhm.
nice carry, nice bounce.
Yeah.
The balls are hard. You've got a good bat, and you can just sometimes shut your eyes and just play your shots. You really have to calculate calculate what you want to do, and you know if you're chasing a game,
Hmm.
you really have to do a lot of analytics to get a good score.
Yeah. So you've almost answered the question with a question for me. Do professional cricketers, therefore, when they're playing at Trent when they're playing at Lords, wherever, they almost have it easy. I've said this for a long time because they know where the ball's going to go when it bounces 9 times out of 10. They know that the bowler is going to be consistent 9 times out of 10. Whereas at Premier League level, it might only be 7 out of 10. And that difference is a huge difference, isn't it?
Yeah, that is the difference, and it's to some extent I can agree with you. Um, but it's just how it is on a day. It's just how like if you have a good wicket. Like the other day we played at Woodhouse Grange,
Mhm. Yeah,
and it was a decent wicket. Uh, Toby Finley, he took me down a bit.
he did.
But it was literally him hitting at the short side of
Mhm.
with the wind short side. Um, that can happen if I had him at Castleford.
It would be a lot longer.
Yeah, you know what I mean. I probably think he would probably second guess some of those sixes.
Yeah,
But in I think death bowling can be predictable, and that is where it can go either way, but it's pretty predictable. uh I always told people associate cricket is it is very hard, and
absolutely.
it's almost harder than international cricket because
Yeah,
one, you don't know some of these guys. Two, they're literally do or die. They're playing do or die, so they have no
yeah.
fear.
Uh-huh.
And three is just like somebody could just take you down, and you just
Yeah,
don't know who it was.
absolutely. Totally agree. I think there's a huge misunderstanding of associate cricket where a lot of people think, well, if you're not England, Australia, India, or one of the top 8, 9 countries in the world, it's got to be rubbish. There's this. That's what a lot of people think until we've seen shocks now in the last couple of World Cups where associate cricket have had shocks. But yeah, I follow a lot of European cricket, never mind just associate cricket.
Right.
And there's a lot of good players out there. And when they come together, you hit
Yep.
the nail on the head. They're there with their
Yep.
badge from their country, and all they want to do is do or die for their country, isn't it?
Yep. That's all it is. I I remember playing just after I made the West Indies team, and we played Ireland, and
Yeah,
I was new in the team, but I really thought that if it was my contribution, I let the guys know, guys, do not take Ireland or any associate team
Yeah,
for granted. They're gonna play hard. They're gonna play together. They probably won't have any, big stars,
yeah.
but they would come together and they would put a good game
Uh-huh.
together to beat you. So please do not take them for granted. And it's almost the same as club cricket, as the Premier League. I don't think that the Premier League cricket is easy.
No,
I have I've heard of probably about two or three hundreds, so far in the season. And because it's just not easy. And yeah, maybe a professional game might be a little bit easier, but or harder, but you just have to give and take.
yeah, yeah. Well, we have a constant theme running through our show, and that it is that if you think of all the players you've played up against in the Yorkshire North League this year, or the players that you've played with,
Yeah.
there's a good number of those players actually who've got the talent to play professional cricket. The difference between them playing professional cricket and not playing professional cricket is one of two things, in our opinion. Number one, they've not had the opportunity to be coached, trained, as S&C, nutritionists 5, 6 days a week. They all have a
Yep.
job and they have to just turn up and train on a Tuesday night.
Yep.
Or it might be that it's mentality. And, generally, if it's mentality, these guys have had a chance and they've dropped back down to second 11 or Premier League cricket. But actually, most of the time, these guys just don't get a chance to go and train with Yorkshire 5 days a week. And,
Yep.
I'm sure you've seen players at Cass or even around the rest of the league where you've gone, actually, if he was training 5, 6 days a week, the difference he's going to make hitting 10,000 balls a year rather than every Tuesday night is massive, isn't it?
Yeah, it's massive. It's massive. And my one of my friends always say, like, international cricket are basically your best clubbies in the country.
Yeah,
That's
totally
all it
agree.
is. That's all it is. And
Totally agree.
you 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 pick them out, and you just invest in them so that you can get them better than they were, or better than the rest that you have.
Yeah, totally agree. And that's
Yeah.
why last week for the test match, we did something which has been applauded by the ECB. We put the England side out with their club names against all the players, because at the end of the day, that's where they started. That's where
Yep.
they get. And it
Yep.
doesn't matter whether they played for one club, two clubs, or five clubs. All of their experience around cricket has built up around club cricket,
Yep.
then the county setup, then the international setup.
Yep. And that's where you got to find them. You don't just as we say in the Caribbean, you don't just go on the beach and just pick them out.
And that's what we used to say. I mean, I'm old enough to remember the ridiculous pace attack of the 80s from the West Indies. And very proud to know that I've seen them live and seen what it was like, and I've heard the stories. But that was what the commentators used to say. We'll go on a beach and get another one. It's like, no, 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 no. It isn't that simple. You've got to
Um,
go.
sometimes it has happened a couple of times.
Uh,
It
yeah,
has happened. It
but they
has
still
happened a
play at
couple
a
of
club.
times.
They still play at a club, and they've still got to
Yeah,
go through the
yeah.
system.
They still play at the club though. They still have to start at the club. But it may just happen that the club would have gone on the beach. Some guys playing some beach cricket, and
Exactly.
then see this guy. He's bowling good pace. Like, wow, can you come and play some cricket? And that's how it happens. But he has to go to a club.
Absolutely. It's a little bit like that youngster who's come over to the UK now to play against England, sort of Anchi from India. And
Right.
I was talking to a journalist last week who said the problem with India is there's probably another 50,000 out there that are just like Suravanchi. They
Mm.
just haven't found them yet. Because when you have a country of the size of India and a population in excess of what they've got,
Yeah.
that they don't have one, they have thousands of these guys, don't they? Whereas, the West Indies, the choice is, shall we say, a little bit smaller,
Yeah, it's smaller.
just a
Yeah,
little
for
bit to say
sure.
the least. Now, you've grown up in a time where, is it fair to say, Hayden, that cricket's no longer that number one sport, is it, in the West Indies as it was in the 70s and 80s? And other sports have maybe not taken over, but have gone right through the system.
Yeah, in my opinion, I don't think we've looked after the sport
Hmm.
well enough. I still think that cricket brings in a lot more revenue, a lot more. It puts the islands on the map still,
Yeah.
but I just don't think we look after it in terms of. So when I come here, I've got coaching to do. So I'm coaching kids from 7 up until even some of the first team guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't see that a lot, especially in Antigua. I don't see it happening a lot where clubs they have a junior program, or even the school have a junior program, and you're just breeding cricketers, and that has been the problem. I'm not sure if it's organization, or it's just like the technology era where kids are more into the tablets and the
Yeah.
iPads and what's not. Could be a or even revenue. I'm not sure, but I still think that the even England and the Australias and the Indias, they've done well
Hmm.
to keep the children interested in cricket and still, bring through cricketers every
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think 100% right. It's a mix of a number of things that's sort of driven it that way. But then it's cyclical, I think, these things go round. People go, hang on a minute, and all of a sudden, the West Indies will come up with like when they won the World T20, all of a sudden they've got a squad and it works, and it just happens, doesn't it? You don't,
Yeah.
you go through a series. If you're India, you've got too many to choose from. If you're the West Indies, you know that you might have a generation or two without, and then they come back. It's just finding those right ones, and more importantly, I think those guys getting those opportunities like you've taken over the years, or even to come and play county cricket as they used to.
Yeah, yeah. So I always encourage my guys back home, come and go and play cricket in England or wherever. It could
Yeah.
be, I mean, Afghanistan might be a little bit pushing
You might
it.
be pushing it a bit there, yeah.
Yeah, but wherever it is that's playing cricket, go play cricket, get yourself opportunities,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, it's only gonna make you better. And
Yeah.
even this stint with Castleford, I feel myself. I'm learning. I'm
Hmm.
learning every day on the job, learning how to be a leader, whatever it is. I've learned a lot so far. So I really appreciate them having me.
Absolutely. So come on then. What's it like learning from the legend that is Mr. David Wainwright?
Oh, that guy is so crafty. I've heard of him, but now I know him. He's a giant. I mean, he's only small, but
Yeah.
I have so much respect for him.
And as a bowler, do you end up talking to him a lot? And there's a little bit of chat about the batters along the way, and almost to arm around each other.
Yeah, we communicate. I always go to him to ask him, oh, Buenas, what pace do you think I should bowl here?
Hmm.
What feel do you think? Um, I feel like I'm the one going to him to ask him, what should I do here? What should I like an under 19 player.
Yeah.
Yeah, I that's how I look at him.
Yeah, absolutely. But come on then, you got 29 wickets so far this year with Cass. things are going reasonably well. You guys are in second place of the table. Had a tough one last weekend against Clifton Alliance, and you've had a tough couple of weeks, really, haven't you? Because your last ball win at Woodhouse Grange, you beat Sheriff Hutton Bridge, if I remember rightly. Was that last ball at your place? Clifton Alliance have beaten you at the weekend. You've been playing all those top sides almost back to back.
Yeah, we had a stretch where we played 4 games. The top 4
Yeah.
back to back. So it's definitely been a tough month or so. I really think we have what it takes. My biggest criticism for us is if we could feel better. I don't think anybody could beat us, but
Uh-huh.
it really has been a tough 4 weeks. The last ball against Woodhouse Grange. Boy, I don't know if you know, I bowled that last over.
I do.
Can you guess the last ball that I bowled?
It was a wicket.
Yeah, but what delivery?
Oh.
What delivery do you think I bowled?
So it wasn't your normal delivery then? It wasn't your stock delivery?
It definitely wasn't stock.
Go on then. Was it West Indian style? You went in fast?
Very West Indian style.
Okay, so you bowled 5 balls that over stock balls as such, and then went with the last one fast.
Yeah, I came off about 3 steps and whizzed it like it was supposed to be a bumper, but it went through about chest high at about the guys say it was about 80 mile an hour. I think it was probably about 70 or so.
But that was that something that you just did yourself, or was it something that the skipper had said, do that?
No, I suggested it
Uh-huh.
because we had a last game that we lost, where Ed Morrison, he had one more ball. Well, it was the last ball, last wicket, and they needed, I think, 1 run or so. And he just kind of bowled a stock delivery, and he got hit back past him, for 4. And in thinking, after that, I was like, you know what? If I was in that situation, I would have bowled a bumper. It wasn't quite a bumper, but it went through probably about chest high.
Yeah.
Like it went through before he even picked his bat up. So,
Well, it's fair to say that you're living right now in the right place to bowl a bit of spin followed by a bumper, because it's the home of Harry Brook, and we all know that Harry loves to run in from a 3-yard run up to a 5-yard run up to a 10-yard, and he'll change it right through his over. So it must be a Yorkshire thing to do that.
I don't know if it's a Yorkshire thing. I really just wanted us to get over the line.
Which you did. That's the most important thing, isn't it? To get over the line that way.
Yeah.
It's looking at the table now. The top 3, yourselves, Clifton Alliance, and Sheriff Hutton Bridge. You've got a bit of a gap now to 4th and 5th. The next bunch down. Going into the second half of the season. It's going to be about the top 3, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be about the top 3, and I think the main thing is survival. Is just the ones who can just get over the line, like how we've been doing, just getting over the line in tough games, and just keep on collecting points, because all those points just go a long way, don't they? So
yeah, definitely.
It's really just about, you're gonna win, you're gonna lose, but just the ones that are close, you just really need to just get over the line.
Yeah, I think it could almost go down to who beats who among that top 3. That could be all the difference. And you guys lost to Clifton Alliance at the weekend, when I'm sure you thought you could chase that down, couldn't you?
Yeah, we should have won that. That should have been an easy win. But as they're number two, they're not just gonna
Yeah,
down and just say, "Oh, you guys have this one."
yeah,
Yep, and that's what I'm talking about. Like you just have to get over the line somehow. You know, those games. Just here. I don't know if you remember the England team. They were saying that we don't we don't mind playing ugly cricket and just getting over the line.
100%.
That's really how it needs to be at this moment.
Definitely, definitely. So let's talk just very before we come to the end about a couple of people in particular for you. So, is there any names of players that you've seen over here in the Yorkshire North League, either at Cass or around and about where you go, that's a name that I want to look out for in the future?
What do you mean, young players?
Yeah, yeah, we always like looking at young players.
Um, what's his name? He played for Clifton. He was in the under 19 team.
Yeah, I did some work on.
Back. Yeah, he didn't play against us last weekend, but he definitely played in the T20.
Uh-huh.
He hits a big ball. Hits a big ball, and yeah, I don't think he's known for hitting a big ball,
Right.
but he did, and he did it well, and he bowled some pretty good pace. So I always think about that innings, and yeah,
Yeah.
he's only 18 or 19, whatever he is,
Yeah.
and he stood out for me.
And there must be a player at Cass that stood out who also has
Yes,
got called up.
Owen Smith, our
Yeah.
keeper. Yeah, he stood out. He stood out in the very first game
Okay.
because me and him, we made some runs in that very first game, and I thought he was probably what, 23, 24, 25, and then the guys were like, no, he's only 19. I was like, wow,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
this this kid is really good. And he does everything that you want him to do, which in he can bat, he can
Mhm.
bowl. Well, he's a keeper, but he bowled for us in a game. Got 4 wickets. He can field. So that to me is a talented cricketer.
Yeah. A wicket keeper who can bowl. That's frightening.
Yeah, yeah, and I when I think of a wicketkeeper that can bowl, I think of Devon Thomas. He was probably one of those generational talents where the guy could do anything. He bowled at like 85 miles an hour.
Wow.
He can keep, like, his hands are lightning. He can
Uh-huh.
bat. You know, that's just generational talent.
Yeah.
So when I look at Owen, I just see a generational talent.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly when it comes to Castleford. Yeah. What have you found the most difficult to get used to?
What? Just anything really, cricket wise,
Yeah.
or just
Any doesn't have to be cricket wise.
um the weather's definitely had a number on me because it's definitely, it hasn't been okay. Some game, like probably one game where it was nice, but it was either really cold or really hot.
Yeah.
It hasn't really been in the middle. And I find it difficult because as a leg spinner, my fingers get very cold, and I need
Yeah.
that.
Uh-huh.
I need that warmth in my wrist and my fingers to get things going.
Yeah.
And it's well, when it's hot, it's just really hot.
Absolutely, absolutely. What about the other end of the scale then? What have you really enjoyed about Castleford that has been almost a surprise?
um, I think the camaraderie. I don't think it necessarily surprised me, but the camaraderie around the guys, everybody is together, even
Yeah.
though, we would have lost. The guys aren't really down each other's throats, and I really commend that because like on the weekend we could be fighting one another, and
Yeah.
we're still I know teams that would have probably game done, everyone's gone home, and they don't really stick together. But that
Exactly.
that's really good.
Win together, lose together.
Yeah, for sure. But
What are
that's
you
hard to
miss?
do.
What are you missing about home the most?
Um, the beach.
And being how far do you live from the beach back home?
Probably about 15 minutes.
Yeah, whereas you're about an hour from the beach there at Castleford, aren't you?
Yeah, but is it blue sea and and
It's not quite the Caribbean, no.
28 degrees?
Yeah, although last week when we had that heat wave, I've got no idea what the temperature was like out there then. It was different.
Yeah, I really enjoy fishing as well. I haven't really done much I haven't done any fishing.
Okay. And
So
that would be sea fishing back home though.
sea fishing, yeah,
Yeah.
rock fishing.
Yeah. Whereas most of the guys who'll do it up your way in Cass around that way, they do lakes or maybe even rivers, or even canals, which would be slightly different, wouldn't it, to say the least?
Yeah, it would be very, very different.
And looking forward to the end of the season, do you have any personal goals that you're trying to get through, or it's just team, 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 and Cass to be top of the tree again?
Yeah, my personal goal would be to, help the team win the Premier League.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, but I would like wickets and runs. At the moment, I'm probably on 500, so I would love to I would love to end with 1,000 at the end of the season.
Yeah.
That that would be a good personal goal for me.
Hmm.
About 60 wickets,
Yeah.
and hopefully that would be enough to get us over the line.
I've got to ask then, have you found batting or bowling more difficult in the Yorkshire North League compared to what you're used to?
I think batting can be a little difficult. Not because of the conditions, because of situations of the games.
Yeah.
So I am coming from a professional. The professional game is go hard, very positive. Um, you put the bowler under pressure. I find it hard sometimes to rein myself back, where sometimes you probably don't have to go after the bowler because
Yeah.
the situation doesn't really require you.
Yeah.
Uh, Sometimes I get caught in the trap. Sometimes it works. So I'm really trying to find that balance where I'm all about strike rate. ODI play, good ODI play, you want to be striking at around 90
Yeah.
plus, don't you?
Hmm.
So sometimes when it's when I'm probably going at like 70 or 60, it's hard to tell myself, oh, it's okay. It's okay to go at this pace. You can pick up.
Yeah.
That's probably the difficult
Yeah, and I
part
think
about it.
that's difficult in every Premier League around the country. Some leagues they go hard at it a lot more than they do in the Yorkshire North League. But then you've got some games where you guys have scored 230, 240, 250. You're almost getting up to that 90, 100 strike rate anyway, aren't you? So it's a real balancing act between the ones where you go at it versus that 150 game like last weekend.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Like What, and funny enough, the ones that we score, we've scored like 220, 230. I would probably score at um, you know, 70 or 60 for the middle part of the innings, but like the end part where it's like 40 overs down, I would pick it up, and that's where I would get up to 90 or
Yeah,
80. Whereas in the professional game, you want to be going at 90 consistently
yeah.
and then jump to your 140, 160.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, I've got to ask you a question that I don't mind if you don't want to answer it. But while you're over here, have you looked at and seen any other franchise opportunities? There's a lot going on around Europe these days and in the UK. Have you looked at one or two other opportunities, or are you just totally focused on CAS?
And well, I would love to. My agent, he keeps me updated. He's been putting my name
Yeah,
down for the franchise opportunities. I would love a franchise opportunity, but I think it's more about the platform. So I need to find my way,
yeah,
maybe in a second team game, or somehow find my way into a county game to
yeah,
get that vision and airplay.
yeah.
But
Def-
at the moment, I am kind like Castleford is the main thing. So
Absolutely, absolutely. I think
um,
the main thing, Hayden, that comes across, and I'm sure our listeners will see this, is you're enjoying it as well. And if you're enjoying your cricket, that's always the best thing, isn't it?
yeah, I'm enjoying it as well too. So I'm not really in a rush to go anywhere.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Cass would be a second home for you next year again if Colson comes knocking on the door.
Yeah, for sure. I'll definitely be signing that contract again.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. Hey,
Yeah.
it's great catching up with you, Hayden. So we love hearing what people are enjoying over here, and the differences between playing around the rest of the world. You've played around the rest of the world a lot more than one or two, in very random places. Yeah, I think the message to everyone who's out there who's listening is just don't stop playing. Keep giving it a go wherever you can, isn't it?
Yeah, keep giving it a go. Cricket is cricket, even though it's, Premier League, village cricket, you still have to go there, you still have to execute and, just enjoy it.
Absolutely, totally agree. Hey, thanks for your time, mate.
Thank you, Ian. Thanks
Cheers,
for
Hayden.
having
All the
me.
best, mate.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Premier League Cricket Show. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future episodes and stay updated on all the latest news, views and discussions from around the cricket's Premier Leagues. And be sure to follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, and Instagram at TPL Cricket Show on both. Join the conversation, share your thoughts and connect with us and your fellow Premier League cricket fans. And hey, if you enjoyed the show, why not show us some love? Leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast platform, as it helps other potential listeners to find us when they're searching for cricketing podcasts. Thanks again for being part of the Premier League Cricket Show family, and until next time, have a good one.